What's up, guys? I'm going to cut this in the beginning of the video. Nick and I actually just finished filming this video, but I'm going to cut this in at the beginning. Super excited. If you didn't see it in the nation, huge news. Already, we have a Buffalo Trace pick and a 1792 foolproof pick lined up for this year for you guys.
Super excited.
And now, thanks to Chad, we just lined up a Four Roses single barrel, barrel proof barrel pick. Woo! Oh! So we have 3 amazing barrels coming out this year. Just want to let y'all know, I said y'all again. Spoiler alert. So we are going to be taking care of our Patreon members first. Obviously, you guys are the ones that take care of us every month. It's only fair we take care of you guys first. That being said, I don't know if I see a lot of these barrels lasting to the nation without being on Patreon.
Right.
Just kind of the nature of the beast. So if you want to get in on it, link in the description. I mean, kind of shameless plug. Like I hate to do it, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast. You know what I mean?
You invest in us, we invest in you.
Right. But the more we have and the more barrel picks we get going and the more we have people committed to them, the more barrel picks we can do from different distilleries. So we have opportunities to do barrel picks from different distilleries, and it's just a matter of making sure that we can sell an entire barrel and commit to that entire barrel. You know what I mean?
Because barrels are expensive.
They are. If the store doesn't want to pick up the slack, you know, I could be on the hook for $10,000 to $15,000, and
that's a lot of money.
I can't afford that.
Right.
So anyway, we're gonna cut back into the video, and you guys enjoy the RC6 and the SE4-PR5. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so we're doing the SE4-PR5 as soon as Nick gets off his phone.
Oh, we're like starting.
The SE4-PR5 versus the RC6. I don't know if it's so much of a versus as like a compare and contrast.
Yeah. No, you should never really do a versus for things like these.
Right.
You know, like you can compare last year's Four Roses limited release and this year's Four Roses limited release, but it's not like a which is better. It's which one's ultra good and which one's also ultra good.
No, that's a cork. Maybe. Yep. Okay, are we ready? Ooh!
That's solid.
Yeah.
Let's see. This might not be quite as good because it is missing some.
Very different, but respectable.
Well, different because it's got a lot more airspace.
Respectable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the SE4-PR5, which is the 2020 release, on this side, and we'll keep the RC6 on the left side, your right side. Bloop, 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 bloop. Here, let me hook you up, homie. You're welcome.
Am I, though?
You are.
You just wasted, like, a lot of my drink.
I didn't waste any of it. Every single drop of that made it in the glass. Shh. Every drop made it in the glass.
Sure. Every drop that's in the glass made it in the glass. That's true.
80% of the time it works every time.
60% at best.
Oh no, I'm definitely much towards.
You're rounding up?
Yeah. I'm much more than 80%.
So we're starting with the SE4-PR5?
I was just kind of getting a nose. I think we should start with the 2019 RC6, which we know it's good.
If you've had it, you know it's good.
Right.
Like, it's SE4-PR5, RC6.
RC6.
Such a good nose.
It really...
It's like a...
really is.
Like a spiced apple cider.
So if I remember right, the RC6 was all 10 staves of each barrel to Maker's Mark and placed it in... Which ones? Toasted. 10 toasted staves. So if you're a fan of the toasted barrel finishes, this was definitely...
this would have been your jam. Finding them is really pretty much impossible.
At this point, yeah. We're in the beginning of 2021.
There were roughly 1,400-ish bottles of each one.
What?
That's what I saw.
14,000?
No, I don't think it was that. Maybe it was. I don't know. It's
I don't know. I know I've seen a couple of them on the shelf when they were out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. You could be right. I have absolutely no clue.
Someone will let us know in the comments
They will.
how wrong I am or am not.
Put it down on the bottom for you guys to see. Because
I could be remembering that from a different bottle, but something tells me, and it may be different per release, but I feel like when I looked up the RC6,
the Four Roses limited edition, there's 14,000 bottles. Yeah.
So it could be 14,000 on these. I have no idea. There's some ethanol on it, but it's not overpowering at all.
No,
it's just really good.
Toasted marshmallows, barrel char, your standard bourbon notes, caramel, vanilla.
Right. Definitely that barrel char is back there just hanging out, but you know it's there. Definitely some oak, a little bit of leather. It's just good.
A little bit of dark fruit in there. Mm-hmm. It's hiding, but it's in there. So let's see what we get in here. Ding! Fries are done. Mm-hmm.
Coats your entire mouth. Nice spice, that baker's spice that you get.
So I was like, this is way more dry than I remember it being. Mm-hmm. And then it stopped being dry. Although that was just like a first sip thing, but...
Oh no, that means you should take another sip.
Oh no. Woe is me.
Nice and oily. Coats your entire mouth. You get some nice spices, a little bit of heat, some cherries. I'm picking up some cherries. It's not super strong, not like Luxardo cherry. But for me,
more like your standard maraschino cherry.
Yeah. But like not quite as sweet.
Leather. Oak.
Definitely that little bit, almost a drying oak on the finish.
Like some tobacco too.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It is. Now that the SE4-PR5 has had a chance to breathe, and this is to celebrate these notes, we partner with independent stave company to develop stave profiles SE4 and PR5, which were married together to create this expression.
So two different stave profiles. They don't really give you a lot of information on the bottle.
We set out to create an expression to showcase the vanilla and caramel taste notes of our signature Maker's Mark that result from long-standing approach to seasoning our wood outside for a full year, much longer than normal. While more time-consuming and additional seasoning develops, more degradation of the wood that helps unlock the vanilla and caramel notes naturally occurring in our classic Bourbon. Bourbon. It's French.
It's extra fancy.
French. So apparently SE4 and PR5 are both stave profiles that they came up with. Independent Stave Company does some awesome stuff. Andrew over there is one of the leaders, and listening to him talk makes me realize like how much chemistry I don't know.
I already know how much I don't know, which is most of it.
There's a lot that like chemistry and science that goes into, like they don't just take wood, like cut down a tree and make a stave and slap a barrel together. There is way more that goes into it nowadays. So,
yeah, on the RC6, the stave details are 10 virgin toasted American oak staves. So this says a marriage of virgin toasted American oak and French oak staves. So that's the big difference.
Which I'm really glad. So I've wondered for like the last few years, like everyone talks about different ways to make a barrel. Some of them like the twin oak, and I think some of the Cooper's Craft. They actually char the barrel and then they cut the staves to make different. You get the charred wood and the fresh wood, and you get different flavor profiles that way. Obviously, from different types of wood that it's in contact with. But I was like, why don't they take like an American oak, like half American oak, or like 2/3 American oak barrel staves, and like 1/3 or half French oak barrel staves, and make ta-da!
Makers heard your thoughts. They're connected to Facebook.
I did talk about it on a live a couple years ago, but something tells me that's more than 2 years old, so I probably can't claim that.
You can't say that you didn't, though.
That is true.
They could have aged it and then tossed it in a barrel with staves. The Facebook algorithm might.
So the SE4-PR5 is definitely darker and sweeter to me.
Yeah.
More of like a mocha, dark fruit, creme brulee, burnt sugars.
Yeah, like a lot of the dark sweet is like a dark caramel and not like a
molasses.
Yeah.
Molasses, dark caramel, burnt sugar.
Right. Like a teriyaki sauce.
Which I guess kind of caramel is burnt sugar, but
Literally.
whatever. Ooh, I can't wait to get into this. Whoa! Things got a little rowdy.
I got a bit different.
That's really good.
It's fantastic. You still get that like trademark maker's spice, but the mouth feels completely different. It's got this really pleasant sweetness, like a caramelized brown sugar. Because like regular caramelized sugar is not dark enough. It's got to have some extra oomph to it, and it's just.
It reminds me of like a cobbler made with like molasses.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic.
Obviously, both of these are limited. Retail on them is about $70,
right? Which is more than fair.
Yeah, especially for a once a year limited release. Yeah. $70.
They punch way above there. So this one's 108.2. That one's 110.6 or 110.8.
110.8. So they're both right in that 110 range, right. 108, 110, which for me is like.
They've got a ton of flavor. There's no like ethanol burn. It's just really strong, solid flavors. Great mouthfeel, great finish, great nose.
I absolutely enjoy both of these. If I had to pick one, I would probably go with the SE4-PR5.
A little bit more in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with the RC6.
And by the way, before this came along, and spoiler alert, we've tasted Nick's, but that he stole from me from the store.
I didn't steal. I bought it before he noticed it. That's not stealing. I'm just better with eyes.
The RC6 has been a long-time favorite, so just know that
I think I've been through.
I'm not dissing this whatsoever.
No. I think I've been through one or two bottles of the RC6
at least.
There
was a while there. I was like, another RC6, bro.
It's good.
I wasn't arguing.
I've finished a bottle of SE4-PR5 and still have two, one of which is opened at home. And it's the SE4-PR5 that I've got at home is about here, and the RC6 that I've got, which is my last one, and that's very upsetting.
I'm really wondering and excited to see, like, what now. You know what I mean? Like, once it gets down here, like, has it opened up at all? Do you think
it has, but not like. Like, crazy. You know how you have some bottles that open up and almost completely changes the experience in the bottle? This is opened up and everything's just gotten a bit fuller.
Right.
Like none of the notes have really changed. They've just kind of blossomed almost. And they're just, it's delicious. It's gorgeous as a drink. It really is. It's something that I'll sit down. I'll only pour one drink of them at a time. I won't sit down and have 3 or 4 tonight. But it's something I sit down and I just want to like savor something because there's just so much going on. Like we may not have mentioned a lot from each one. There's just so much going on, but it's so well integrated. It's hard to really pick out individual notes.
Yeah. So my nod would go to the SE4. That being said, the RC6, like I said, longtime favorite. Not that this is bad by any stretch. That one's just a little bit more in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. No, I mean, either.
Which I was really worried about because at the time when this one first came out, I was like, man, that RC6 is really good. There's no way they can do better.
And it is.
And they did.
Right. I'm excited to see what the 2021 release is going to be, what they're going to do, what stave profile or anything like that. I'm really looking forward to it.
Because Maker's Mark is all about altering their bourbon with staves.
Yeah.
Different staves, different flavored, not flavored, but different profile staves. When you do a barrel pick there, you don't really do a barrel pick. They give you a barrel And then they give you extractives kind of stuff that you can add to your glass of each one of the stave profiles. And you have up to 10 staves to make your own blend. Then they take those staves, put it in that barrel for another 6 months, and then give you your bourbon, which I think is a really awesome, different take on a barrel pick.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. This is definitely going to be the yearly limited release that I get at least 2 or 3 bottles of every year from here on.
Assuming you can find them.
I will hunt people down.
Hell or high water.
Hell or high water. Lucky enough to have friends in different areas of the country, so if everybody around me runs out before I can grab one, usually they'll.
And that's really key. If you guys are having a hard time finding bottles, if you have family in other parts of the country, talk to them and send them pictures or something, and be like, "Hey, can you keep an eye out for this? You know what I mean? Can you stop by a liquor store, every couple of weeks or something, just see what you find?"
Right. And even if it's something that if they can't ship it to you for one reason or another, even if it's something you got to wait 6 or 8 months before you see them.
Yeah.
Like stuff like
It'll
that,
be there waiting
absolutely
for you.
worth it. Right. And if it's going to be a bottle you enjoy, it's going to be worth waiting for anyway.
Yeah.
And
good news, there's plenty of good bourbon on the shelf to hold you over.
Absolutely. But the Maker's Wood Finishing Series is hands down one of my favorite limited releases.
They just do cool, awesome stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just like you were talking about how they do it with the staves, is that the bourbon, the actual bourbon that's in these bottles, is really not any different than is in Maker's 46 or regular Makers.
Right.
But they use the wood staves to turn it up and add the flavor, not add flavoring, but to add,
to change the flavor.
Right, to change the flavor.
Right.
That they're not adding flavoring to it, but they're using the staves to change the profile of the bourbon. And it's a really cool process, and it turns out some really great products.
It really is. So with that, guys, appreciate you all hanging around. And this is more of a informal format for us. Just lay back, talk bourbon, talk with y'all. And I said y'all.
Y'all.
See?
Y'all too?
Right? That's what I said. I said what I said. God, the nose on that is so good.
Yeah. I mean, you really can't go wrong with either one of these. Honestly, like the Maker's 46 and now the Maker's 46 cast strength are just unreal. Off the shelf, relatively easy to find with the Maker. Definitely easy to find with the Maker's 46. Mm-hmm. That's not even remotely allocated. Please knock on wood. Right. Knock on wood at home. You better do it. We're watching. We are watching. But no, it's the Maker's 46 cast strength, not quite as plentiful, but still relatively easy to find. Not allocated really that I'm aware of, but I mean,
and the Maker's 46 by itself is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I honestly am not a huge fan of the regular Maker's Mark. It is what it is. That's just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't do it for me. But the Maker's 46 is amazing.
It's so good.
The Maker's cast strength, some of those are awesome. Yeah. And the limited releases are really good. A lot of store picks are fantastic.
The Maker's Private Select. And even with the Maker's, the regular Maker's cast strength is really good. And I'm with you. The regular Maker's just doesn't really do it for me, but the regular Maker's cast strength is really good. And then basically everything from there up their line is really solid. I've had one private select store pick that didn't blow me away, but it was still good.
Right.
It was just a little hot for my liking.
Which I find some of the Makers, for whatever reason, they just drink hot. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand it. But so anyway, appreciate all you guys. Patreon members, love you. If you want to support us, that is a way to do that. That's about it, guys. So until Friday, noon central next week, cheers and drink blind.
I'm just going to take this home with me.
Okay. We want to give a huge shout out to all of our Patreon people. Absolutely thank you. You guys are freaking magical. T-shirts at Teespring, link in the description.
Also, thank you to anyone who has ever supported us, whether that's either coming on a live, chit-chatting with us on a Thursday night, or if you just like to watch our episodes. We appreciate every one of you.
Until Friday noon Central next week, cheers.